Hello everyone, this is Zeph. Welcome back to the channel. So I've been involved in alternative subcultures for the past 5 years or so. I first started getting into darker clothing styles back in 2019, however, I really got into left-wing politics back in 2020 after the death of George Floyd and the subsequent protests. I'd been somewhat moderate politically as a child, and music-wise I'd heard some goth-adjacent music back in the day, but in my early teens I mostly stuck to rap and electronic music. Mainly Aphex Twin at the beginning, actually. However, the B-52s was actually my favorite band when I was 7. Anyways, here are a few examples of things that I've made through the years. So I no longer have some of these, since I kind of needed space for other ones, but these last ones here are the most recent ones that I have, one of which I will be actually using in this recording to put stuff on and so on. It's the pants I'm currently working on, these brown ones here. Anyway, so the first part of this video will be on how to make patches. So I got my technique for these patches from Reptile DIY, and I will link his channel down below. And these stencils I got from a user on Reddit, and also TikTok, Instagram, that is anarcho-stencilism. So I will be showing their website as well. I will also link Helmet's website at the bottom in the description. So let's get started. About stencils, I have dozens of these stencils that I've made over the past few years. I only really first started making stencils officially about 3 years ago. A very good resource is anarcho-stencilism. I will be linking it in the description, and thanks to Helmet, they give us a ton of great resources for stencils and patches and just all that good stuff. So here I have a Dead Kennedys one. You'll see it. I used it for one of the patches on one of my other jackets, my Dutch military jacket that you saw at the beginning. So we have this one. We have Black Flag. This one's not done yet, but it's mostly done. Poison Idea. This little anarchist guy that I used for this patch. Drop Dead. Very good band. Yes, good band. Dead Kennedys again, but this time it's the Holiday Cambodia one. Capitalist Casualties. I also made a patch for this one. Oh no, we're stuck. Hold on. Okay. Meat is actually a very good zine. Anyway, so we have this Capitalist Casualties one, and there's a whole bunch more in these notebooks. But I'm going to give you guys a little tutorial on how to make these patches. So with the patches that we like to make, for example this one, I meant to say stencils, my bad. So essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to one of these stencil websites. So let me just do a quick little video section on that. We will be doing that on the computer. Alrighty, so let's get started with this. So you're going to want to open any browser. I use Opera just because I kind of like the way it looks and the way it works. But anyway, let's get this here. So we have anarcho-stencilism. Okay, so for anarcho-stencilism here, we have the website. They have a DeviantArt. I tend to use the DeviantArt more because I like the way it looks. So we have a bunch of these. So here, we're going to go to one of these. What is one that I've wanted to make for a little while? Let's just make a little practice one here real quick. All right. So you can see I used the Poison Idea one from this website. Helmet gives us a lot of great resources. I love their deviations that they use for this. It's great. It's been super helpful for all things DIY. So they have the featured section. They have non-banned stencils, which tend to be political things. Hardcore punk, crust and D-beat, goth, street punk, and oi. Chain punk and hardcore, ska and ska punk, anarcho punk, grindcore, power balance, emo, pop punk stuff, egg punk, speed metal, black metal, folk punk, death metal, doom, all the stuff. And it is very useful. So let's see, let's go with anarcho punk, one of my favorite subgenres. All right, so let's see. They have a lot of small bands too, which is kind of nice. So let's go with crass here. So obviously this is huge. If you want to make it this size, that's fine. But I tend to make them smaller so that I can get them as small patches. So I went down to about that here. And so what you're going to want to do here is you are going to want to get a piece of paper. So here, I'm going to be tracing out my design. You can use a printer for this. I just prefer to trace it because I don't have a free printer. And as I'm showing you here, you're going to want to use masking tape for this. The taping it to the screen doesn't matter what tape you use, but when you cut out your design, you're going to want to put masking tape over it because Scotch tape just kind of gets messy and masking tape keeps it kind of clean with the designs. So here I'm tracing it, and once you're done tracing it, you're going to want to cut it out. So once you have this, what you're going to want to do when you have this finished piece of this drawn out piece of paper with masking tape on the top of it, make sure to put it on the side that your logo is on because it keeps the design intact. So once you have that finished, what you're going to want to do is take an X-Acto knife. You can get these at hardware stores, craft stores, just about anywhere. And you're going to want to cut out your design. Make sure to follow the lines that you've drawn. And then once you get that cut out, I'm going to show you real quick how to do some of the rest of that in a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. So now that we have our beautiful masterpiece cut out, now we get on to actually making the patch. So I don't think this piece of fabric is long enough for what I'm doing. This was just an extra scrap that I had. And this one already has logo on it. So we are going to take another one. I believe this one might be the right size. You can cut it to the right size. I'm just being lazy and picking up one of the ones that I can find just laying around. Let's see. So you're gonna want to line this up and you're gonna want to tape it down. It's being a little mean to me today. Okay. So now we have these taped together, like so. And it's okay if it's a little off because I'm going to fold over the corners and sew them so that they don't fray. That was also another mistake I had. I did not do that previously, and I have a lot of fraying patches on my pants, which is a bit of a problem. It's not a huge issue, but it just makes them look a little neater and makes them last longer, and it also keeps them from falling off whatever you put them on. So the painting process is pretty easy. I'm going to show you guys real quick. So the painting process is extremely simple. So you're going to want to get specifically acrylic paint because it doesn't come off of clothing as easily. I've also seen people use things such as screen printing dye or screen printing ink. My bad. But I tend to use acrylic. A long time ago, I accidentally bought this like transparent paint. It's just not as thin as regular acrylic paint. It's a little bit dry. But I've seen this one actually works very well. You have to do a couple coats of it, but it has worked really well for what I've needed. So you can use a sponge for this if you want, but I just use my fingers because it's easier. But what you're going to want to do is, so of course, open your paint. Put a very, very little bit of paint on your finger. So a little glob about this big. If you're going to use your fingers, you can do this. Or you can put it on a plate and use a sponge if you're not lazy like me. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dab it on your design. You can swipe it, but you want to only put a little bit of paint, and you can do a bit of a swiping motion if you want. It might bunch up the paint a little bit underneath if you're not careful, but you just need to be a little bit careful and just take tiny bits. And as you probably saw me doing this, you very gently get off a little bit of the excess, and you can dab it. If you're using your fingers, you can swipe. I don't recommend swiping with the sponge. And make sure the surface you're using is dry. So the sponge that you are using, make sure that is dry, because if it's too wet, it will probably damage the paper that your stencil is made of. And it also may bleed under the stencil a little bit easier. All right. So I will show you this process once I'm finished with this first letter here. I'm just gonna do another small layer on top, like so. All right, I tend to wipe the excess off. You want very little paint because this paint dries very quickly, actually. So as you can see, I have this letter done. As you can see, haha. I have this letter done, and I will now be going back into hyperspeed to do the rest of these. I do realize I said hyperspace earlier. I meant hyperspeed. I was just kind of being a little silly. So yeah, let's do that real quick. And I kind of gotta hurry because I gotta get to my German class at 4. And I'm currently filming this at 3:09. So I have to do that real quick, and I will come back and show you guys the finished product of the painted patch, and then I will be sewing it on later on, and I will be showing you guys that once I return from class. So let's get started. Okay, ich bin zurück. I'm back. Let's see, so I'm getting this off here. So I'm going to be pulling this off. I'm gonna put you guys down for a minute so I can take this off. I shall keep you entertained while I do this. Let's see. Let's yank this off real quick. So yeah, she came out pretty good. Let me show y'all real quick. I'm picking you guys back up. Here we go. So here's our patch. This part is done, and I will be showing you guys how to sew this on once I get back from my German class. Hope you guys like this part. And if you guys want to comment something about with more detail or something like that, I am perfectly fine with making another video that has a little bit more in-depth detail than this one. This one's pretty in-depth, but if you want a little more, always feel free to comment and let me know. Section here, just put the flash on so you can see a little better. So for this section, I'm already working on these pants. I'm planning on making them into a full DIY piece. These fit me really well, so I decided to do that. So I'm going to show you guys kind of how to sew these things on. As you can see, I have these stitches here. They're not all perfect. Some people do this perfect, some people don't. I personally don't really care how mine look as long as it stays on, but it's good to do them close to each other, because if you don't, then you end up with fabric moving, fabric not working, which was one of my biggest problems on previous pairs of pants that I have done. I'll probably intercut a video of my other patch pants, or you can call them crust pants, that I made about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that. As you can see here, here's kind of where I have my problems. In the back, it's a lot worse. And as you can see, this has pretty much come off. So is this one. So anyway, so here you can see the stitching here. I'm going to show you guys real quick how to get your sewing stuff set up and to actually get sewing. We have some great materials for our sewing. Of course, we have a sewing needle. You can get these pretty much anywhere. CVS, well, yeah, I think CVS probably does have sewing kits. You can get them at fabric stores. You can get them at, pharmacies, whatever. I mean, if you want to pay for them, that is. You can also get them at dollar stores and so on, which I was actually home for the weekend and didn't have my sewing stuff with me. So I got this, and it came with a couple other ones, and also some curved ones, which was nice. So I got those for like $2, something like that. And so what I use to sew is I use dental floss because it is a lot stronger and it's very versatile. You can use it for pretty much anything. I use it for every one of my sewing projects because I don't really
care about the visibility of the thread. If you want to use thread, you can, but I recommend this stuff because it's a lot thicker. Also, it's fine if it has like a flavoring on it. It doesn't really matter. I thought it was going to be an issue when I first started using it a few years ago. Like, there's no problem. It doesn't smell like anything. It doesn't really do anything. So this one I got from Safeway with a pack of a few others, and then this one I got from Costco in a big pack. I like these because you can retract it if you have too much, which is kind of nice. There's this wheel here, so that's very helpful, and it comes with a lot of this stuff, and it comes with 2 extra ones, 2 extra like little travel ones. So yeah, let's get into our threading, because apparently I've learned that I thread needles with thread differently than other people do, which kind of surprised me. I was never formally taught, so I just kind of started doing it and kind of figured it out as I went along. So I'm going to show you the process of doing that, and yeah. Alright, excuse me for being very backlit. I'm in my dorm right now. Alright, so I tend to take a lot of thread because it's a lot easier and it's fun to just kind of have a lot of extra so that you don't run out and you can use it for lots of patches. So yeah, I usually tend to get pretty long. Some people say 2 arms lengths or whatever. I tend to go with about that much, or 1.5 or whatever. Let's see. So you're gonna want to get the middle of your thread here, and it's fine if you don't get it perfectly, because I usually straighten it out once I have the needle in, but I'm doing it a little more fancy today for my video. Let's see. So you're gonna want to kind of split this in the middle. Don't tie it off yet, of course, because we don't have our needle on it. If it's too long for your arms, you can always fix it once you get the needle on. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to thread this through. I mean, obviously, if you just thread the needle through, and the threading through part doesn't really need a tutorial. You really just kind of find the eye of the needle and put the thread through. So here, it's okay if we don't have the exact middle, because I can extend my arms out, or what I do here is I tie it first and then straighten it out once I'm done. So you're going to want to take these 2 pieces here, right, and I always wrap them around my fingers, and so you're going to want to tie 2 knots in this. I used to tie 1, but sometimes it would come undone, or it would just come through the hole that I would make with the needle. So I'm going to double knot this, and then what I like to do to make sure that it's centered so you don't have weird loops sticking out when you sew is you swipe your fingers down like so, and there we have our double thread. And if it does this, if it looks like it's doing this, don't worry, because once you start sewing it will stick together and then will stay together. Okay, so now the way I tend to attach my patches for crust pants is I overlap them. I used to not do this. For my previous pair of pants that I will show you, I did not do this, and it led to a lot of my patches starting to fray at the edges and fall off, which is not good. If you want that look, that's fine, you know, because I was kind of lazy when doing this previously. But if you don't want your patches to fall off, it is a lot easier to make it very specific. So here, what I'm doing is you put this in, obviously you pull it all the way through. I tend to extend my arm pretty far out when I'm sewing. It makes it a lot easier. So what you want to do is, if you don't mind about the size getting a little smaller, you can simply just pull it through and do a fast stitch. I don't remember exactly what it's called. But what I usually do is I will put my hands inside like so. I will put my hands in, and I will hold it. Let me take a patch here to show you. So let's say this is 1 layer of fabric. I folded it in half, but so I do this. I pull these apart like that, like this, and I take the needle and I push it through, pull it, I push it through, pull it like this, hold on to whatever it is I'm doing, and pull it the other way. Sometimes when you get to the middle of one of these pants or something, it can be a little hard to do that, but that's generally how I do it. Let's see. So I like to go straight across, so I will be doing like this. You don't have to do it like this. This is just how I like to do it. And then you pull back through. And sometimes it will get caught on other patches if you have them on. And if it gets caught, don't just keep pulling, because obviously it will mess up whatever other patches you have on. I pin these down with safety pins. You don't have to close them, but I just like closing them because it keeps it from getting poked. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick montage here of me sewing, and I will show you the finished thing of this specific patch in a second, so let's do that. So you guys saw that video of me looking very ridiculous while I was sewing these patches. Lots of hand raising. I just looked back at it. But anyway, so here we have our patch done. I sort of kind of finished off another patch as I was doing this one. Sorry, I need to pause the music I'm listening to. So here we have this done, as you can see. I kind of went against what I'd said originally, and I did kind of sweep through on the inside. So you'll see right here, I kind of like swept through on the inside as well. I've seen other people do it kind of on the outside and have the knots that they tie off also on the outside. But I just kind of do it on the inside because I feel like it looks nicer. So as you can see, we have this patch done, and I'm going to show you how to tie it off on the inside. Some people tie it off with needles, like they just sew through a knot, and it's kind of easier to do it that way. But what I like to do is like so. I like to, it's a little hard to do it with one hand here, but so what I like to do is I'll take the needle, right? I will wrap it around one time, like so. And so here you have this. So now you have a little loop and our needle is inside. So it's a little hard to do this with one hand, but so you pull it until it's tight. I like to do it a bit bigger and kind of let it get smaller, and then you just pull it really tight. It's a little hard to do with one hand here, as I've said previously, but you just want to pull this until it's all the way down at the bottom. And you're going to want to do this twice, just like we did with our first knot. So see, we have this knot, and I'm just going to really quickly do it again, off camera, since I need both hands. Okay, so I just finished our second knot here, as you can see down here. So now this is done, and we need to cut it off. So you can just kind of use any pair of scissors, doesn't really matter. Pretty simple. You just get really close to the knot. Gotta make sure not to cut the knot off here. Get to the knot, and snip, and you're done. Some people burn them, the little tips here. I just kind of keep them as is, and I'm in a dorm, so burning them would not be a very good idea. So yeah, here we have this patch done. Alright, so as you can see, my outfit has changed about 3 times in this video. A lot of this stuff was filmed over the course of one day. However, this was filmed like 4 or 5 days later. So I started filming on Wednesday, and this is now Monday. It's almost a week at this point. So I'm going to show you some other stuff that we can use for kind of accessorizing, sort of like punk stuff. I tend to usually go with the punk subculture a lot because a lot of the stuff's really cheap and easy to make. Black metal t-shirts are a little difficult to make because of the logos, the stencils. They get very complicated. I have managed to do it a few times, but it's very complicated. So yeah, here's some other accessories. So these things here, these were actually from a military surplus store. You can probably get these at cop shops too, but so yeah, I got these, all of this together. I think all of this together was $20 with the belt that I got it with. This is not the belt I got it with, but this one's one that is in a little bit better shape than the one that I had. These came with, so I believe these are pouches for pepper spray or something. I don't know. I remember I talked to the guy about it. I actually know the guy that owns my local surplus store. Let's see. So you put these on a belt, and you can wear these on top of stuff. You can wear it in your belt, loops, it doesn't really matter. I tend to wear it outside because it tends to kind of bunch up under your clothes if you wear it differently. Sometimes it's easier to wear it with the loops so that these things stay in place, because if not, they move around. I tend to just wear outside of stuff too because it's easier. It sort of just gives you more of that kind of, you know, punk sort of look. I was gonna say punk rock, but that's what everybody else says. So here, what you do here with these is you can just close it up here, and boom, you're accessorized. Pow, pow. So yeah, this part's really nice. These are good for like hanging your keys. These are good for ear protection cases, and just like holding stuff. You can put your keys either on this one or this one. I think this one's for handcuffs, I believe. Or no, I think this is actually for batons, that your baton would sit in here, and then your handcuffs would be in a separate leather pouch that I also have, but I currently do not have it with me. So next I have these belts that are made just out of the top part of a pair of jeans. These are my dad's. They're a little big, so it didn't work as well. And as you can see here, I sewed the back pockets on the front, so you can have these little pouches here. You know, just little pouches to keep stuff. These are army suspenders. These I'm going to switch to my other belt, which is this one. This one has a butt pack on it. Not butt pack, my bad. A butt flap, actually. So these are good for like rain and stuff like that. I made it with little clips here, so you can clip it onto whichever belt you want to wear it on. I could even clip it onto the pants I'm wearing right now if I wanted to. These are really easy to make. Basically what you need is like some kind of waterproof fabric. I got like some like aprons from the dollar store and was able to cut them up and turn them into this. I got this belt from the thrift store, cut it up and sewed it into here. So this is like waterproof fabric basically. And on the inside I have a waterproof placemat, which was also very useful. It's why it's huge as well. So yeah, that's the stuff over here. This is other than pants. And then I have my drop leg pack, sorry, not my waist pack. And this drop leg pouch is very useful. There's a lot of pockets on here. This was like 20 bucks on Amazon. Not big fan of corporations, but you know, you make do. So I'm thinking of studying this at some point, putting maybe some patches on it if I can. There's Velcro here, so I might make some stuff with Velcro. So yeah, that's about it for the Untitled Chapter, or other shit. So yeah, this was, you know, kind of a short tutorial thing. By short, I mean like 25 minutes. But yeah, that's about as much stuff as I could get in about patches and just other stuff you can make. I will be making a video on how to accessorize other punk things, how to find good punk things that you can make yourself. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit those 2 buttons. Most people say hit the bell. You don't have to hit the bell unless you want to. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.